Hi there. This is a tarot reading for Cancer, Ascendant, Sun, and Moon for the month of December 2018. And we're using the Gemini Astrology Tarot spread that I recently created. If you want to find out more about that spread, go watch the video that I have in the link go watch the video linked in the description below. And you can find out more about how this spread works. Otherwise, I'm going to just jump right into it here for you. And yeah, let's see what we find. So for Cancer, we're going to start here. This is going to be signifying your ascendant in this chart. And then we're going to go clockwise around in the order of the astrological signs and subsequently houses. And so each of these cards is going to be a house and so on. We have this card in the middle, which represents kind of the key matter that brings everything together for you this month. Is the reversed Lovers, which is an interesting situation because it's a major arcana. And of course, anytime the major arcana show up, we want to pay special attention to where they fall in virtually any tarot spread, but especially a complex spread like this, where we've got so many factors involved. So already we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 13 cards, which is actually quite a lot because major arcana, they're rarer than the other cards because there's only 22 of them. And so we've got quite a lot going on in terms of that realm for you this coming month, which basically just translates to a lot of situations and things arising that are kind of seemingly beyond your control, that are happening regardless of whether you sort of want them to or not, on perhaps a deeper level, stemming from either a more unconscious place or super conscious place even, and that kind of a thing. So that's kind of how we're looking at that. I'm sorry, no, we've got 6. We've got 6. Somehow I missed the Hanged Man here, which is perhaps an omen for this kind of this reading. The fact that I missed this could be significant in terms of the rest of the reading. So we'll see if that comes into the picture at all as we go forward. So we've got 6 out of 13 or 6 out of 12 if you don't count the middle card. So again, quite a lot, just reemphasizing powerful changes and powerful opportunities for you this month, which is really cool, really exciting to think about. So the houses that are going to be emphasized by these arcanum are going to be the 3rd house, which has to do with efforts and peers and siblings and neighbors. Let's see, the 6th house here, which is going to be enemies and disease and self-improvement and things like that. We've got the Sun in the 7th, and the 8th, Moon. Very interesting that we have Sun and Moon. These normally come one after, Moon normally precedes the Sun in the natural order of the arcanum. So it might be significant that the Sun is coming first in the order we pulled them out. We'll see. And then the 10th house of career is also emphasized. So yeah, relationships here. And then this, I skipped over this, but this is going to be sort of the deep unknown and potentially something that you may be afraid to investigate more of. And then 10th house of career and actions and notoriety and stuff like that. So these places I just listed are sort of the key areas of life that are going to be important for you this month. And so I'll probably start with those after I talk a little bit about the Ascendant. So you've got the Knight of Cups in the Ascendant, which means that on some level this month for you, you are kind of traversing new places and exploring new places when it comes to your emotional integrity and your feelings and whatnot. You may be the one offering this cup here to whoever this person is, which is kind of an interesting juxtaposition. The knight is carrying a cup and then this hand is coming out of a cloud. So this is almost like, it reminds me of some kind of like psychic communication between two people in different times, different places, possibly transcending even vast ages of time. It could be like dream time communication, dream world travel, stuff like that. But you'll be, in any case, traversing new realms that perhaps you're unfamiliar with. And so that's kind of a big theme for you this month. You've got the King of Cups aspecting, you've got the Ace of Cups aspecting, and you've got the Moon aspecting. So it really couldn't get more watery for you this month. And of course, Cancer is, perhaps the quintessential water sign in many, many ways, because it's the domicile of the moon, which the moon card is aspecting it here as well. So you're going to be super psychically open is what I would expect. You're going to be emotionally very vulnerable, but also very empowered, which is cool. So that's nice. The King of Cups is in the 11th house of friends. So this is perhaps a prominent friend or just somebody influencing your hopes and dreams. But either way, this combination is great for actualizing whatever hopes and dreams and ideals you may have this coming month or have had for a long time. You have a great opportunity to do that and to really take control of it and whatnot. And this is mostly inner stuff. It's not necessarily stuff where you're going to be like super well known or something for doing these kinds of things, but it is nonetheless very, generally speaking, auspicious for you and a kind of a new beginning emotionally. And it's a great opportunity to just open up in a lot of ways. Perhaps start seeing a therapist if that was something you had been thinking about doing. Perhaps join, like an AA type meeting or group if that was something you were thinking about doing. Or more, less gloomily, it may be the perfect time to like really start exploring more meditative techniques and even like, it could mean an opening of sort of devotion and things like that in the realm of spirituality, kind of like a bhakti path or something of that nature. And, coming back to this Lover's card, it's kind of the heart of everything. It is reversed, and I'm not sure exactly how that reversal is working out just yet, but it could easily have something to do with like pleasure seeking and that sort of a thing. It could easily have something to do with an old relationship or a dysfunctional relationship ending, giving you the chance to like really grow emotionally by facing whatever comes up as a result of that. So I'm not getting a huge hit on that yet, but we'll return to that soon, I'm sure, in the course of the reading. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 water cards. So next to Major Arcana, we've got the most water cards. And of course, the moon is by extension naturally very watery. So that's a 6 card. And then this Swords card is traversing over water. So by extension, we have, in a sense, a 7th watery card. So ton of watery stuff. Again, emotions, inner life, just a lot going on in that sphere of things. And I kind of like to jump around when I do these readings, so you'll have to kind of just bear with me. I don't like to work very linearly. But it's interesting because this journey card is in the 9th house of journeys. So there could easily be some long distance journey that you go on, or some sort of journey to a new place and a new kind of way of looking at things or seeing the world is maybe involved in that. I'm not sure, but I definitely see it as it's definitely some kind of journey, right? And with all the watery stuff going on, that could also mean some kind of dream journey or astral journey. This is probably a great opportunity to, like, you might want to do a dream journal for the next month, or you might want to just, when you wake up, like really think about your dreams a little bit more so you remember them. And you might want to practice doing like visualization techniques, could like meditative techniques and stuff, could be especially fruitful for you, especially powerful for you, and so on. And where's this journey person heading, right? They're heading towards strength. No, it's reverse strength, but that just may mean that as you kind of head towards this realm of strength and sort of the rebirth of passion in like a pure and more mature form than, say, in the Lovers, where passion is kind of youthful and it can be innocent, but it tends to be a little self-destructive. As you move to this realm of more mature strength and power, empowerment, and sort of rebirth, sexually potentially as well, which is very much associated with the strength card, you may find that there's some work to do there, that it's not, that's something that it doesn't quite just like fall into your lap immediately, that there's something to like kind of learn there before there can just be a free flow of it and that sort of thing. And this journeyman is also moving away from the moon, which could, again, could symbolize like moving away from a more chaotic emotional space into a more like simple space that's empowering. So kind of like a chaotic, maybe disempowering space is something more empowering, and so on. But journeys are definitely powerfully indicated for you regardless by the knight being in your ascendant and the Six of Swords being in your house of movement. So important to consider that stuff. We are actually missing Pentacles here. It's the only suite we're missing. And we have this fiery card here, and Strength and the Sun are sort of by extension also fiery, but fire is also fairly low in this spread, and Pentacles are completely absent. So there could be the possibility of being tempted to really escape from responsibilities and what you need to do in the world, possibly due to a feeling of not feeling empowered. This is in your fourth house of peace of mind and personal life. And so it shows that there's a lot of distress and anxiety, perhaps conflicts and so on. You just feel like you're constantly fighting some battle. And so that could easily turn out to influence you in a way that makes you more, I don't know, just like almost too sensitive, or whatever's going on this month, you're probably going to be like far too sensitive to it and that sort of a thing. So just be aware of that. Let's see, the Hanged Man. This is interesting. The Hanged Man in the third house. Well, the third house is, one of the meanings of it is daily life and the way and especially the way you bring like spiritual wisdom and teachings into daily life. So with the Hanged Man here, it could emphasize being like more disciplined and more ascetic in your daily life, like really steeling, STEEL, steeling, like the metal, steeling yourself against whatever conflicts are arising because of your home life and your private life and whatnot. But this would definitely recommend like, having discipline and perhaps steeling yourself against this kind of conflict. It could negatively also speak to like a conflict avoidance pattern happening where you just like are standing back and don't want to interact with the conflict and whatnot. I don't know. It just sort of depends on what goes on. This is a general reading, remember? So some things are going to apply to others more than some other things. But yes, daily life is very much emphasized for you, and like bringing some sort of discipline into that daily life and seeing things from a different perspective is going to be very much emphasized because it's a major arcana again. Let's see. We also have 6, the Fool in the 6th house reversed. This is a strange place for the Fool to be. The Fool always represents a cog in the machine, or a deus ex machina, which means God or ghost in the machine. So the Fool is very much a wild card. It sort of makes everything in the spread open to extreme oscillation or change or reversal. So on a certain level for this spread, everything I'm saying may be very much subject to change, like almost instantaneously. And so this month for you, there could be, quite a lot of change basically because of that Fool, quite a lot of power and energy sort of making things act in a non-linear, non-rational, or seemingly non-rational manner. And it's in your 6th house of basically signifying, in this case, kind of like a perceived misfortune. So I would say that this month, whatever kind of misfortunes and enemies and like major obstacles, we say like illness, but it's really any major obstacle, whereas the third is more minor obstacles, right? Minor obstacles probably aren't going to touch you as strongly this month, but major obstacles, you should you should really look at them more closely, because on some level this month especially, they are going to be messengers of a more profound spiritual message for you. They're going to hold sort of the capacity for a more radical realization or self-transformation even. That's what I would say about that Fool in the 6th house there for you. And then we have the Sun in the 7th, which is very good for, well, it could be very good for your partner for matters of like their career and empowerment and stuff and new beginnings generally. But I would say that, yeah, the Sun in the relationship house, if you're not in, well, if you're in a relationship or not, it can, again, it can empower the partner, but that doesn't necessarily include you. Okay. So be aware that like your partner or someone you're interested in, great things may be happening for them in the world, right? But that may not necessarily totally include you. Okay. So don't be careful not to go to the moon phase, which is right next to it, the moon phase of being and doing, and get like personally hurt by that, and just like kind of recede into sort of a more victim mentality or something like that. That I would caution you against, especially since the moon, especially since the moon is in the 8th house here of the horoscope. So that's what I would kind of say about that. And this is again a great opportunity, because it's in the 8th house, to really get into your inner world, find out what's bothering you and why it's bothering you, confront old wounds, confront old patterns of behavior that are not really serving you anymore, and that kind of a thing. If you don't do that, chances are that even if there's great things happening for you this month, there will be a lot of difficulties here because of that. And the moon is aspected by another kind of chaotic card, the 5 of Wands. So that kind of adds to the chaos, and yet another animal kind of card, and the horse too. So we've got like this really animal conflict sort of theme happening here. And, that's just again, a lot of deep unconscious factors, chaotic, and perhaps being sort of controlled from behind the scenes by like an animalistic nature, which doesn't mean just like, it doesn't mean anything like bad or negative, but it means more like basically the fight or flight mentality, and the survival instinct kind of going awry, and maybe not including others and so on, and just being sort of like paranoid. It's almost like paranoia or something like that. So that's something to keep an eye out for, of course. Now, strength in the 10th house of career and public life and actions, again, it's potentially very empowering. And I would say the upside down nature of it is just sort of suggestive of maybe being a little fearful of doing that, or having some trepidation around taking advantage of that. But it's really, at the end of the day, it's really showing like a very positive opportunity to just take charge of your life in general, and to do like whatever you want to do professionally. This is an opportunity to like be reborn and stuff, as long as you don't get bogged down by these watery cards that are aspecting it, these 3 watery cards, because that could sort of stifle the free flow of strength and power, because these things can bring attachment problems, especially the moon. And the 4 of Cups can also bring sort of security and attachment issues that could kind of hold this back. The Ace of Cups, less so. The Ace of Cups is new beginnings emotionally. It's in a very auspicious place as well. It's in the 5th house. So that's like really, you're being like sort of empowered this month to, again, explore things emotionally, take emotional risks and whatnot, and sort of have a fresh slate with that stuff. And we have fairly good aspects on this Ace of Cups from the Sun, from the Knight of Cups, and even from strength, even though it's upside down, it's still very positive stuff. So you have a lot of power to like do some great things this month in many different areas of life. So that's really cool. All right, I'm going to cycle back around to the second house now of finances and family and things like that and security. You are again, you are maybe receiving a gift of some kind this month. Um, and it has good aspects on it from these two cards, but this card is kind of interfering with that. So you're receiving a gift, but if you're overly focused on conflicts and sort of the chaos around you, you may miss that gift, that kind of a thing. Generally speaking, this is not a card that signifies like extreme changes. Neither is this card. So really there's like general stability with your family life and finances, not too much super important stuff going on there. I would say that the sun aspect may show new opportunities for friendship and kind of just in general, like just sort of good fortune around finances, but only if you are sort of willing to, probably only if you are really willing to take advantage of that, instead of just sort of sitting there and gathering things to yourself and not really doing much outside of it, if that makes sense. All right, so I've talked about the Hanged Man a bit. I've talked about this. I've talked about this, generally speaking. Yeah, pretty much talked about everything except the 11th and 12th houses. I think I mentioned the King of Cups is like possibly like a powerful friend that's going to help you out this month, or that you're going to do some good work with. This could be, I don't really see it as necessarily a relationship happening, but there's a good friend to support you if you are going through a difficult time with relationships. This is bringing me back to relationships. Sorry, I'm going to get a bit off topic, but it's like if you're doing one thing and your partner's doing the other thing, or the person you're interested is doing something completely different, right? Like, don't be surprised if you are trying to offer them a gift that they're not really interested in. If you're thinking of trying to do something like that, you may want to just step back, right? You have this nice support here happening, whether that's a friend or sort of like a teaching or an inner strength, or even a teacher or something like that. You have that support. So I just want to remind you of that. Yeah, the King of Cups in the 11th also generally shows like good results of sort of professional life as well, and decisions that could spark or inflame your creativity in a positive way. So, the more you take advantage of this, the more good you have to look forward without really having to worry about it. It'll just happen naturally. So that's the nice thing. The more you act in a way that's in accordance with like what you're passionate about, basically, the more good things you'll have to naturally look forward to and support and whatnot. The Three of Cups in the 12th house upside down. I would say that is perhaps a difficulty letting go of an old relationship or friendship or some like desire or just something like that. It's there's kind of some trepidation there of letting go of that kind of stuff, and it may be this type of thing where you're really reminiscent about like old times and how you perceive the way things used to be and how they were like really jolly and really good and whatnot. And as a result, you're trying to go forth and sort of like mend things and repair things. But honestly, I can't say that I see things really getting like mended and repaired right now this month for you as a result of these efforts. It'd probably be better to just like be patient and take a step back from trying too hard to like make things happen and mend a situation that is kind of changing or in disrepair or chaotic or whatever. It's a really excellent month to like really focus on yourself and who you are. And we have this strong theme of illumination here with the sun and moon, the two lights, the Fool, which also has a sun in it, the Hanged Man, which has a sun around his head, and the Lovers, which has this sun here. And sort of by extension, the Strength card, because it's just like bright orange and yellow, sort of complementing these cards in a way. So there is this theme at the end of it that's like about shedding light on things and not getting so bogged down by what has transpired in the past or what is sort of recently transpiring and so on, and just becoming more independent, basically becoming more emotionally independent and more individually and creatively independent. And again, no pentacles, so this isn't really a month where financial things are necessarily going to be happening for you, but that's okay. It's just not here. It's just not really important. And like I said, your finances, if we look at the 2nd and the 11th, I think your finances are largely well supported, generally speaking. So we don't need to like worry too much about the physical financial world for you this month and that sort of a thing. Okay, so I think that wraps it up. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video around to all your friends and family and whatnot. Check out my website for readings and check out my Facebook page and Instagram and all that good stuff. All right, guys, have a great month.